You know, sometimes the most interesting stories aren't laid out for you. They're scattered all over the place, little digital breadcrumbs, just keywords and dates. So today, we're basically going to be digital detectives. We're going to take this collection of fragments and piece together the entire picture of a business. All right, let's jump right in.
Okay, so our investigation starts with this, our very first clue, VR tour. Right away, that points us toward a specific kind of tech, something in the world of virtual reality.
And then, boom, another piece of the puzzle drops. This time, it's a location, Palm Springs. Okay, so now we've got a technology and we've got a place.
Next up, something a little more technical, 8K imagery. Now, this isn't just about any old pictures. This screams high-end, top-of-the-line quality. And finally, we get a subject, hotels. So let's take a quick look at what we have. We've got virtual tours, Palm Springs, 8K quality, and hotels. Right now, though, they're just disconnected words. So what's the deal here? How do we connect these dots? How do we take all this raw data and turn it into a story that actually makes sense? Well, that's exactly what we're going to do over the next few minutes. We're going to decode this whole thing together.
All right, first things first, we have to tackle this jumble of keywords. You know, the trick to understanding any messy set of data is finding the patterns that are kind of hiding in plain sight.
And check this out. This is our first big break. Just by sorting these keywords into groups that make sense, a structure just appears. You can clearly see these categories popping up. The tech being used, the services offered, the subjects of the work, and even the kinds of activities involved. Suddenly, all that noise is starting to sound like a clear signal. So at the very heart of all this is the VR tour. Now, for anybody who's not familiar, think of it like a virtual open house. It uses 360-degree photos to build the simulation that lets you explore a place, like a hotel room or maybe a hiking trail, right from your computer. This is the core product we're looking at.
Now this is where it gets really interesting. It's the focus on not just 4K, but 8K imagery. And trust me, that's not just a small step up. We're talking about a level of detail that makes a virtual experience feel unbelievably real, super immersive. So the big takeaway here is that this business isn't just doing standard virtual tours. It's aiming for the high end of the market with this premium, ultra-high quality stuff.
Okay, so we pretty much cracked the what. We know this is all about high-end virtual tours, but that's only half the story, right? This next batch of clues is going to help us figure out the where. So the data gives us this really specific list of places: Palm Springs, San Diego, Redlands, Loma Linda, Hemet. Now, if you know California, a picture is probably already forming in your head. These aren't just random dots on a map. They point to a very specific and probably strategic part of the state. And when you visualize it like this, that strategy becomes crystal clear. You see a huge focus on major tourism and residential hubs all across Southern California. You've got the classic desert resort town Palm Springs, the huge coastal destination of San Diego, and then the massive inland empire. The geographic focus here is just undeniable.
So when you combine the what, these VR tours for hotels, resorts, and all that, with the where, places like Palm Springs and San Diego, I mean, the conclusion is impossible to miss. The target market is California's huge competitive hospitality and tourism industry.
Okay, we've got the service and we've got the location. Now let's bring in the element of time. We can use the dates from our data to see this business in action and actually build out a real portfolio of its work.
So what we see is a timeline of projects that shows consistent work. There's stuff for the PB Surfside Inn back in 2023, and then it just keeps going. A steady stream of projects through 2024 and even into 2025. You see names like Mission View Inn, Spring Hill Suites, the Infusion Beach Club. This isn't a one-time thing. It's an active, ongoing business with a real client list.
And here it is. This is the big aha moment. This is where it all comes together. When we combine the client's name, the location, and all those keywords we decoded, we can actually reconstruct their portfolio. The PB Surfside Inn in San Diego, that gets a beach hotel VR tour. Lake Hemet State Park, that gets a landscape tour. They even work with cultural stuff like the Desert X art exhibits in Palm Springs. The puzzle is officially solved.
So let's just step back for a second and look at the complete immersive picture we've managed to build from what was just a handful of digital clues.
It's pretty amazing, right? We started with a messy list of words, and from it we've pulled out this perfectly clear business profile.
We know that Anthony Taylor VR Imagery is a specialist that creates high-end 8K virtual tours. We know their target market is the hospitality and tourism industry, hotels, resorts, parks, you name it, and we know their playground is Southern California, all the way from the beaches of San Diego to the deserts of Palm Springs.
And this whole thing leaves us with a really fascinating thought to end on. We've just seen how one business is using this incredible technology, but think bigger. As these virtual experiences get more and more realistic and more common, how is that going to change the way we all explore the world? Will we soon walk through every single potential vacation spot before we even think about booking a flight? It's definitely something to think about.